Hi everyone, my name is Yura. I'm the head of Prodcut at Slido. I'm really excited to be spending the next few minutes with you, at least virtually. It is definitely slightly weird, to be able to see you all, interact with you all during this short talk, but I'm glad this is a way we can make it work. I'm tuning in, joining you guys from my home in Brooklyn, New York. And again, thanks for listening to this and joining the summit. So the topic for the session I wanted to share is really how to get to the state of innovating on your product with the customer in mind and at the heart of it. I think it's a very relatable topic, which is I know why a lot of you were interested in it. And what I want to share here over the next couple of minutes, the story of what we did at Slido. Before we get into that, just a brief. For those of you who don't know Slido, brief few facts. We are a Q&A and polling platform for events and meetings. We were founded in 2012 in Slovakia in Europe. Originally from Europe, but now grew into a team of 140 people, spread across 13 different countries, from the US, where I am, to Asia. Even office at Bali is something where we have few folks. So really excited to grow into that distributed team. We're still bootstrapped, which is becoming more and more unique, but we're excited to power more than 600,000 events and meetings to date. And actually recently we celebrated a milestone of 1 million participants joining Slido per week. So excited times. Our vision has always been to help people get the most out of joining a meeting or event. And we do this by enabling a true dialogue between the speaker and the audience. Hopefully this is something that you can all relate to, whether it's even lectures in university to meetings that we're all joining now. We want to help the speaker and the people joining make the time really worthwhile. Now, what I want to do today is tell you how we put our users at the core of the product innovation and why we had to ditch our product roadmap in the process. And I know the roadmap and product roadmap as a thing gets a pretty bad rep now, and I don't want this talk to lead you that way. I think you'll get that point towards the end, but it's been a process for us, so I want to share that lesson. Now, the question that we asked at the beginning of this was, how do we build a great product that makes our users successful, right? And we believe that the best products are built at the intersection between great engineering and customer success. That's what we're aiming for. But the reality often looks like this, right? There's a big gap between engineering and success. There's a lack of understanding, alignment, and most importantly, communication. Now, let's look at the before for contrast. So our success team before, they're focused on improving retention. They tried everything to move the needle, from onboarding, research, data, implementing new tools like Gainsight, focus on customer and user education, to really make that impact, right? They realized that they needed to change things on the product side. So they will be coming to product with requests, with insights. And on the other side, there was product team. We were working on a quarterly roadmap. We had these product reviews where we planned the roadmap for next quarter, locked it, and that was really it. We realized we were building features, but we were installing problems for our users. We were missing deadlines, which wasn't ideal, and then that led to rework needed after delivery oftentimes. And at the end of this, the adoption of new features wasn't really what we were hoping for either. So success and product now combined to Slido as a company before, you can sum it up as engineering really just executing the given roadmap for the quarter, and customer success feeling left out and feeling like their voice doesn't matter as much. So a few weeks in, and I remember these meetings where we presented the roadmap to the whole company, but really a few weeks in, no one believed into that anymore. So that's kind of where we were before, and we realized that we had to change. How can we start bridging the gap between engineering, product, and customer success? So there's one piece of information here, and that kind of led to the aha moment. When we look at our sources of customer insights, they come in mostly three places. One is the NPS comment, so a user gets an email after usage where we get the NPS. Live chat and support tickets are another source of insights, feedback, comments, and then customer calls, of course, whether it's a customer success manager or our customer care team on a call with the user. Now that's when we introduced the customer experience team. Their mission has been to connect the engineering and customer success teams, and they do this by collecting and categorizing all these insights from these three main sources, and they bring these into a manageable format to the product team. That's been one huge thing, that a helpful thing. They were also able to sort of analyze and dig deeper into the root causes and break that analysis to the product team in this format. So this is actually a recent report from just back in May. Now they do them monthly, and they deliver a pretty extensive report of the main pains. And what was the aha moment there? It was very obvious for us that looking at through the reports and through the insights that the CX team was bringing to us at product, we realized that we aren't solving our customers' biggest problems. We are building features and we're building noise, really. So that was our realization at that point, that we need to kill our roadmap, and we need to kill the way we were working with the roadmap and product planning internally. So let me walk you through now how we did it, and hopefully there'll be a few lessons that you can take. Some of them are very actionable. I'm not saying you have to copy the whole thing, but I think there'll be lessons there that you can get inspiration from. The first point is no product roadmap. So the shift for us was to bottom-up experiments from that top-down roadmap that was planned by a small group of product folks and executives at Slido. So the experiments also have gone through an experiment and iteration. Just recently, we actually shifted the product team to Notion, and that's where this list of active projects will live. But it's really about the teams having the teams being autonomous to figure out what the experiments are, instead of sort of a top-down roadmap given to them. That is very much linked to the second point, which is about truly autonomous teams. We'll build the product team roles in this way ever since probably the past 2 years. Each team has a product manager, designer, dedicated designer, 2 to 3 engineers, sometimes 4, but there's always you could call it engineering lead, we call it tech lead on the team. Then there's a dedicated QA specialist, and I would even say most importantly, there's a dedicated user researcher for each product team. So that's kind of a combination of the customer experience team and user research, which I'll talk about a bit more later as well. Now, the key metric for us, it's number of events, but each team is able to break this down into a metric they will want to move. So if a team is focusing on activation, they'll have metrics linked to that. But by this split of team and all these team roles being in one place, in one team, and being clear about what is the metric they are trying to move, they can truly be autonomous, and it kind of reduces the need for syncing up between teams for status updates or direction and alignment, etc. Thirdly, it's for actually just what I said, it's very important that the teams understand the product strategy, understand the big picture. It can be easy for us, easy for the executives to forget that, okay, we think about the big picture, but how do we translate it and help our teams? Here's an inspiration. I think this is a great model where we got inspired by Gibson Biddle, the former VP of product at Netflix. He talks about this get big, lead, expand model. For us at Slido, this is kind of out of context, but for us at the beginning, it's been get big on conferences, Q&A. Then we were focusing on leading the all-hands meetings. That's been our focus since probably 2019. And then we're now starting to expand into remote meetings and individual presenters. So this is probably not important here, but this has been really incredibly important to know for the product teams, to know where we are heading as a company. And then when they understand the context, when they have enough context, they can make those decisions autonomously in their teams. Next, it's about identifying the top problems. So we talked about the customer experience team, and there is really, it's been sort of eye-opening. You know, the customer insights are the lifeblood of customer-centric product development. You won't be able to really talk about customer-centric product development if you are not in touch and if you don't understand what the insights are and what the users are saying. So for us, it's been the customer experience team that I talked about before a little bit, but we also created a user research team. And as I mentioned before, each product team had one user researcher on the team, you know, who were organizing research calls with users on a regular basis, and the engineers were joining as well. I'm not saying about a product manager, that's almost a given, but even the engineers were either watching some of the chosen recordings or joining the call. So it really connected us at product with the user, which was kind of sometimes easy to forget. Now, last but not least, how did we get the customer success team on board with this, and how did we sort of work to bridge that gap? One thing we did at Slido is we created dedicated Slack channels. This is something that the customer experience team did as well. Four examples here. One's customer insights, then there's customer pains, then there's product ideas, and there's customer love. I think customer love is pretty self-explanatory. That's where we share any nice tweets or comments from the users, helps the team and really shows the value that we're providing. But the customer insights and pains especially is a place where a person from customer success team can come in after they've met with their account or user, and they can submit with a pretty sort of automated command /insight, for example. They can submit an insight into Slack that will then get organized by the CX team later on. So this is how we funnel and channel through those insights, pains that everyone at the company hears on calls or in meetings, etc. In addition to that, we also started doing monthly demo days. Those are internal demo days. It's really sort of a function of an internal marketing for the product team to market and talk about the features and the updates that the team has built and communicate it to the success and sales teams internally, so they have all the right information when they talk to the users. Now, to wrap it up, in terms of key takeaways, there's three main things. The first one for us was to realize that the best products are built at the intersection between engineering and customer success. So we really worked hard on bridging those and bridging that gap. Secondly, customer insights are the lifeblood of customer-centric product development. So make sure you have a structure or process that you get those customer insights in, and then you organize them and you actually use them. They're not just kind of floating around. And last but not least, to keep the insights flowing, you need to continue to demonstrate an impact. So use things like the demo days where you can show the team that, hey, here's an insight or customer pain that we've been seeing for the past few weeks, and here's something that the product team built to solve that, and here's the feedback from the customer. So demonstrated impact to the company, so it kind of promotes that sharing of insights and pains and creates a collaboration between product, engineering, and success. Now, that's really it. I didn't really want to keep this long and abstract. Hopefully these were some actionable and practical tips that you can implement in your company if you aren't doing them. You might have a lot more that we aren't doing and that are working for you. So either that, or if you have any questions, please get in touch. Here's my email. It's my first name, Uri@slido.com. You can also find me on Twitter @UriPaul. And if you're interested in Slido, you can try it out for free at slido.com. If you have any feedback, questions, I would love to hear from you, and hopefully you enjoy the rest of the summit. Take care.